VEO3 is the latest AI video tool from Google, and today I'm going to be showing you exactly how, even as a beginner, you can use it. I'm going to be going over step by step how the interface works, a few prompt tips, and exactly what this thing can actually create to get some realistic looking AI footage. This thing is absolutely insane, and with that being said, let's get right into it. As it says here, VEO3 speaks for itself. Break the silence with VEO3, create high quality 8-second videos with their latest AI video generator, trying it on a Google AI Pro plan, or get the highest access with the Ultra plan. Now, of course, because this is the latest and greatest AI model, I'm going to actually have to use the first paid plan or even the Ultra plan if I want the best results. So they don't actually offer this for free right now, but that's what this video is for. Hopefully after seeing it, you get a better idea of this is actually worth it for you if you can actually create these videos and how exactly it all works. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it and hit this button here that says try VEO. All right, so it brings us into Google Gemini. And as we can see here, we are currently on VEO3 Fast Preview. Bring ideas to life in an 8-second video. You're the director, so describe a scene or add details like visual style. So let's actually create a nice video here. We have the video setting on, but if I turn that off, I'm just going to say here, generate a video prompt for VEO3, you decide. So now that we've got our prompt here from Gemini, I'm just going to navigate over and actually just hit new chat, and we're going to enable the video tab. It says generate with VEO3, VEO3 Fast, and we're going to go ahead and paste in our requirements and hit submit. All right, now that we've actually entered in our prompt here, we can see that the VEO3 model is going to begin creating this video. It's going to say, I'm generating your video. This could take a few minutes, so check back to see when your video is ready. This can take up to 5 minutes, but it usually takes around 3.5 or so. So we're just going to wait for a minute, come back, and see exactly what this AI video model actually creates for us. All right, now before I show you exactly what video it created, let's just quickly go over the prompt I actually gave it. I simply said VEO3 recording for a youth soccer match, soccer, youth league game, capture the entire match for post-game analysis, player development, key focus, continuous play, key moments like free kicks, corner kicks, penalty kicks. So we just basically wanted to do a football/soccer, depending on where you're from, match and have it be a youth soccer match. So we can see here that this is the video that it actually generated for us here. At a first glance here, it appears like this is a regular soccer game, but if we look, everything kind of looks like it's drawn on oil pastel. If you notice, the actual legs don't always line up properly. It gets very blurry around specifically where the motion is because the AI model has so much going on that if we actually watch the ball, we can see here at some points, some of these kids have 3 legs. The ball is there and it's going towards the net. And then right before this goaltender is about to make a save, it just disappears into the void here. And then where'd the ball go? Oh, and it's going out. You can see here that in the background, it's tried to do some things to make it seem like it's an actual soccer game by putting cars, but this car appears to be in the bush. Overall, it's not a very good video because I just kind of gave it an overall generic video prompt. And I haven't given it one specific thing. Ideally, for the best results on a tool like Google VEO, you aren't just going to be giving it some slapped together thing because VEO3 only produces 8 seconds. How is this going to actually provide it any sort of detailed prompt? So for our next video, we're going to actually be showing you how to actually write a great video to get the best results using this tool. All right, so for this video, instead of just doing a very generic, here's what the overall idea is, we want to target one particular thing. We want to have one subject, one location, doing one action. We don't want to try and push the model. In that last video, all of the kids who were playing soccer, football, there was so much going on. Kids were moving in the background, there were spectators, there was so much detail that had to go into it, and it ended up looking just messy overall. No pun intended. But what we're going to actually do for this one is just make it a much simpler prompt, but still have all the detail required for it to give us the best results here. And what that actually means is we're going to be starting with the subject of our video. Who do we want to be in the video? For this, we're going to do something nature related to see how it handles animals. So I'm going to say here a crocodile. So basically what we're doing here is we're setting up the subject of our video, what is going to be created. And we can say a baby crocodile, we can say an adult crocodile, but let's go back through and just add a adult crocodile. So that's the subject of the video. For the next part of our prompt, now that we've got our subject, we're going to actually be doing the action. So in this case, this is what the AI model is going to consider when it's actually doing the main action of the video. It knows what an adult crocodile is, but what is it actually doing? So in this case, I could say an adult crocodile bites down on a basketball. This would be our other subject. So currently we have an adult crocodile bites down on a basketball while on land. Very simple prompt, but ideally in this case, we have now given it everything that it needs. I know it seems quite simple, but you can see the differences because in this, we aren't trying to include any extra background data that would clog up the model. In this case, we can actually explicitly state that we don't want very many background visuals. We can say the background is generic and grassy, and it is during the day. So now we've given it a little bit more of the setting. So we have the main subject, we have the action that's being done, we have the background, and we have it just generally providing a few small details that won't clog up the model, but will actually generate a better video overall. So with this, we can just go ahead and hit the submit button here. All right, now that we've submitted the prompt, we can see here that it's begun generating the video. And what we're going to do next is actually compare how this simple prompt does against our much more complex prompt that we submitted earlier. As we remember, the complex prompt was not really, the best at getting the best results because there were so many things to consider. We added so many details that the model had to consider: the foreground, the background, and a million different subjects, so it was spread too thin. In this case, now as we can see here, we have, well, what looks to be a much more promising video. We have an adult crocodile biting down on a basketball while on land. The background is generic and grassy, and it is during the day. So if we go ahead and hit play here. Whoa. That's, you know what? That's a lot better. That is a lot better, I will say, than the visually, messy video that we got here. There was so much going on, and, the background was wigging out, and it just kind of looked like it was oil pastel drawn. Whereas this almost looks like a 3D model from a video game. Like if I was watching a Planet Zoo playthrough and I'm watching the crocodile bite down on a basketball. The physics don't necessarily line up properly because the crocodile does a bit of a bellow, and then the basketball just kind of teleports to his mouth. It just kind of like rolls into his mouth there, and then we get a little bit of the basketball falling off. But it still pops. It's not an instant pop, but this is definitely a lot better than what we saw in our previous one. So for our final video today, how can we use what we learned in the first video in making it not too complex, and in this video where it's much simpler and the video quality is a lot better, but there's a few things that don't really line up, to create a third and final video that matches up a lot more with the expectations of what we would actually expect from this model? Well, that comes down to styling, and we're going to show you in the next video we make. Now, for the final video that we're going to generate today, we're going to take that same prompt that we just created and use Gemini to make it a little bit better. I'm going to hop into just regular old Gemini. We're not using VEO3 for this, and I'm going to simply say rewrite this prompt for an AI video model. It should be simple. And it's key here because Gemini tends to actually go and make things way more complicated than they need to be, and that would generate, a lot more of the messy videos that we got in that first video we generated. But now if I say rewrite this with an AI model and make it simple, we can see here that a crocodile on land bites a basketball, generic grassy background, daytime. An adult crocodile on land chomping down on a basketball is seen as outdoors, and it's just a simpler version of this. And then we could say make it a little bit more detailed. Now hopefully by the time that you're watching this, Google would have actually expanded the quota so that people can generate better videos in one day. As we can see here, we've got an actual AI image that's been generated for us of the crocodile chomping down on a basketball here, but what we want is a video. So let's pick this prompt here. Close-up shot of an adult crocodile on land, jaws clamped tightly around a basketball. That's a much more detailed idea of what's actually going to be in the video. The background is a grassy plain under bright daylight. Add a slow zoom in effect and use natural lighting with a shallow depth of field. Now that is a wicked prompt. That is going to generate us a much better video than if we just initially put in what we did for the last video. We're going to actually go and put that in here, generate with VEO3, and go ahead and hit submit. This prompt excels because it does everything that we talked about previously, but just does it a little bit better without being overly complex. The shot and subject is still very clear. It's a close-up shot of an adult crocodile on land, jaws clamped tightly around a basketball. That's a great way to describe the actual shot, but we're also now putting in things like camera angles. We're including the slow zoom in effect, and we're talking about using natural lighting, a shallow depth of field, to show the AI model exactly what type of video we want to create, not just in subject, but also in atmosphere. Before we just said kind of grassy plain, but now with we actually putting in the shallow depth of field and natural lighting here, we can see that this looks pretty cool. And we can see that instead of the basketball teleporting to the crocodile's mouth, it looks much better because the basketball is already in the crocodile's mouth. So let's go ahead and take a look here and see what it actually looks like. There we go. So I would say that this is a much better video. for a couple of reasons. First of all, as we can see here, the basketball is already in the crocodile's mouth, so it doesn't need to teleport. Secondly, because we've actually described it as a close-up shot, the AI model can just focus solely on our actual subject, the crocodile. Now, if we compare the two subjects, it's a no-brainer which one looks better. Because we described this as a close-up shot and adding a slow zoom-in effect, we've actually reduced the amount of work that the AI model has to do. We can actually see here that the crocodile's eye looks so much better. The scales kind of have a nice little spotty pattern here. The scales just look pretty beautiful with the light reflecting off of them. Whereas if we compare that with the last video we did, you can see here it's a lot farther away and kind of just looks like a video game. It's got the light reflecting off of it, but you know, it could be better as compared to this, where instead of having to generate the entire background, we can just focus on generating that main subject. And we get the basketball already in the mouth, and the basketball actually punched down with realistic physics here, including the bellowing and bursts in the background. Now, this is exactly what kind of prompt you want to put into VEO3 to get some amazing results. So I can't wait to see what you create. And there we go. Now you, even as a beginner, can create some stunning videos using VEO3. In this video, we talked about how to not have overly complex prompts that spread the resources too thin for the model, and to avoid simple prompts that, you know, really make it look like a video game from 2006. Nope, we talked about in this video how to get the best prompt to create stunning videos like this crocodile crunching on a basketball. It's as simple as that. Hopefully, as Google expands the quota, you can actually try it out for yourself and experiment, see what works for you and the type of videos that you want to create. As always, thank you so much for watching. My name is Josh Mountain, and I'll see you in the next one.